Alright, so today we're doing action shots, and I have the Rebel T1i with the 55 to 250 EF lens. This is a kit that's meant to work together. This cost me $144 used. I'm also going to compare it to this setup. This is the Canon 5D Mark IV with the 1-400, which if you were to buy this used right now, it will cost you $2,600. And then I'm also going to use the Canon R5 with the 70-200. If you bought this used, it will cost you about $5,600. $5,700. I also brought an adapter, and then we're gonna do all three cameras with the same lens. And for this, I borrowed a Daisy. Where's Daisy? Now, the most important thing to remember is to set your camera properly whenever you're doing any kind of photo shoot. And when you're looking at fast moving subjects, always remember to use your camera on manual mode. When you use a camera, especially something like the Rebel, and you set it to the little man here that's running, the sports setting, that's not always going to give you the best results. So try to set your camera on manual. When you have it on manual, shoot raw. Remember to always shoot raw. This is going to help you later, and I'll get to that point here in a little bit. Choose a shutter speed that's fast enough for your subject. In this case, a 1/1000 of a second to 2000 of a second is going to freeze that subject. Also, remember to shoot at the widest aperture possible. Your lens is going to dictate that. This is going to allow the most amount of light to hit your camera sensor, allowing for those faster shutter speeds. When it comes to the ISO, don't be afraid of shooting at high ISOs of 1600, 3200, or 5000. Sometimes you need that, and it's better to get the shot than to miss it or get a blurred photo. Remember to set your camera on continuous shooting. This way you can get multiple shots and hopefully freeze that action at that perfect moment. Focus tracking. Every camera has a different setup for focus tracking. This is going to track your subject and give you a better chance of getting something in focus if your camera has advanced tracking like eye tracking or subject tracking. Use that. The Canon 5D Mark IV has focus sections, so you can focus on one particular area of the image and only use those focus points. This is going to help you not only with your composition, but also avoid hunting for focus and for your subject all around your screen. That way when you're shooting, you'll get more of your subject where you want it, and your camera's not going to hunt for those focus points. All right, so with this little camera, I'm at 3200 ISO. Focus is on her. Go ahead, Greg. All right, let's try again with the little camera. Okay, go ahead. Keep viendo. All right, that filled the buffer. That was like 8 shots live, and it filled the buffer. It was taking time. I couldn't do more. Let me switch cameras. Oh, I forgot how to set this one. Speed, let's go up to 1000. ISO, let's go to auto. Turbo, continue, high speed, continue shooting. Raw, okay, I think I'm ready. Go ahead. All right, let's try again. Let me change my focus here to a narrower section. I feel like I got too much. Okay, let's try that. That's better. Let's try again with the little camera, and then I will go get the other one. Hold on, let me get. All right, this little one is not the best, but I think I might have gotten one. Now, I don't think it was a surprise to anybody that the Canon R5 with the 70 to 200 2.8 lens, the $5,700 setup did the best out of this experiment. It was built for that. f2.8 is going to let more light in. It has a great focusing system, faster frames per second. This was built for things like this. What did surprise me was the $144 setup, the Rebel T1i with the 55 to 250 EFS lens. 6 out of 32 photos were good. That's almost 2 out of 10. That doesn't sound like a lot, but remember this camera only does 3 frames a second. And the buffer filled out after 8 photos. So by the second time Daisy was coming along, I had to wait. All right, that filled the buffer because it could not do more photos. It had to process those so I could do more. Remember, this is 14 years old, but it can keep up. Hi, Daisy. Even shots at 3200 ISO did great. When you look at side by side the original shot and then process with Lightroom denoise, which only works in RAW photos, so remember to keep the camera in RAW. This is going to get you more detail and better edits at the end. Even shots at 3200 ISO that are passable. These are not going to make it for stock. If they're not tack sharp, they have a little bit of a soft texture because of the denoise and because I was shooting at 3200 ISO. This is going to reduce the clarity, reduce the contrast. Anytime you go way high in your ISOs, your photo is going to lose a little bit of detail, which stock is going to consider this technical issues. But for a client or as a print, I think these photos are more than good enough. So if you're shooting sports, high school kids, anybody playing any kind of sport, wildlife, this could work if you set the camera properly. You're going to take a lot more photos because at 3 photos a second, this one does 20 photos a second. You can see how much easier it would be with the right tool. Now, for $144, I think I'm impressed with this little thing. With the Canon 5D Mark IV, I mean, this is a great camera, full frame, but even photos at ISO 5000 have a lot of noise. However, those 5000 ISO are better than 3200 on the Rebel. Remember, there's like a 10-year difference between cameras. So that one is obviously gonna do better and a big difference in the price tag. Let me set this down to 16. I think that's a little bit brighter here, so I think that's good. Let me change my focus. Okay, I think we're ready. Nice, yeah, that's way better. The lighting is coming this way, so the camera has an easier time finding her. Let me switch cameras again. Change my settings here. I think I'm pretty good. All right, now that the light is better, I want to give this one a fair chance. So I'm going to do one more run with this camera before I put the lens on the R5, the 1-400. So let's see if I can get anything good with the kit lens, the lens that's meant for this camera. Wow, that's almost, we got one. All right, now I'm gonna switch, put this on that. All right, well, that was a fun experiment, and I'm a little bit shocked at how well this system performed when the lighting was proper. Now remember, lighting is key to photography. Good light, good contrast is gonna help your camera focus. Now, I know I said don't be afraid of using high ISOs, and please don't, especially when we have tools like Lightroom denoise. It's better to have a soft image than not to have an image at all. These images, I'm looking at 400%. I'm really looking at each pixel, trying to find things that are not right. When you set it on a phone screen or 100%, you're not gonna notice a lot of these things. So don't be afraid to push the limits in your camera. Don't be afraid to push the limits in your software. That's why they're there. What was interesting was when I used this lens, the 1-400 on all 3 cameras, things didn't change that much. I got the same amount of good images per camera. The only thing that changed and made a big difference was when I was shooting into the light instead of away from the light. When you get a backlit subject, this is going to be a lot harder for your camera to focus because your cameras use contrast to focus. So when there's no direct light on your subject, it's going to be very difficult for the camera to find that contrast and that light and shadow area to be able to focus and keep track of your subject. So remember to try to position yourself in a way that you can shoot with the light instead of a backlight. Side light works just fine. Just remember to try to keep that light on your subject so that your cameras can focus and get you better results. But anyway, a big thanks to Greg and Lisa for bringing Daisy, and a big thanks to Daisy for running so much for this video. She loves it and we had a great time. I do have to buy her a couple more treats, but thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was useful. The next time you're out taking photos of your kids or pets or sports, a high school event or professional sports, remember some of these settings. This is going to make your life a little bit easier and hopefully get better and better photos. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. I forgot my remote.